Just this. And you're good.
Ladies and gentlemen, another huge week in wrestling has happened. We got so much to talk about. The Royal Rumble event, the road to WrestleMania is officially on with the two Royal Rumble match winners. AEW is doing something that people in wrestling have wanted to see for a very, very long time, and we're finally getting it. Plus, people that return at the Rumble do what they normally do. Sometimes they go ahead and still work for WWE the same week. We're going to talk about who they have for that, who's possibly coming through for that, and we're going to get into all that and more this week on
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
The cream rise to the top, oh yeah.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. You just made the list.
This right here is a family.
Hey, this is professional wrestler and professional podcaster Colt Boom Boom Cabana.
My name is Killer Cross.
This is The Smoke Show, Scarlett Bordeaux.
What's up, guys? The Machine, Brian Cage.
This is Ryan from Pro Wrestling Tees.
Sadly, you are not listening to The Art of Wrestling, but you made a decent choice because you're listening.
You are now listening to...
And you're listening
And you're listening to
You listen to Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring. Bring it down.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening, you are watching, you are paying attention to the most inappropriate wrestling show in the motherfucking world. You're listening to Breaking Down the Ring. We are your ring crew.
I'm Smith Daddy Cool.
No, you're not. Z.
Koenig 19.
And me, the almighty one, Mikey himself. Yeah, and there's nothing cool about you, bro. Nothing cool about you. Nothing cool. Your shirt's horrible. You're jumping on bandwagons. Fucking bullshit. Fucking bullshit.
Smitty's always jumped on bandwagons, though.
Right. Well, okay.
No, not really.
That's,
yeah.
You know what? He's right. He's right. He never jumped on that Roman Reigns bandwagon. Never.
One bandwagon he missed. It is just because he missed the wagon, and then he was like, you know what? Fuck this wagon.
Yeah, I fucking hate this wagon. This wagon's stupid. And then, you know what? Let's be very honest. He's kind of on it right now. Like, he's like, oh, I like what he's doing now. It's really good.
He's walking next to the wagon.
Yeah. He's like on his own too. It's not like somebody's dragging him along. It's just like he's sitting there. He's holding on to the wagon. He's like, should I jump on? It's slow enough. I could just jump on. No, I'm gonna wait a minute.
We're teetering on a joke here.
That's why I said he wasn't being forced. I knew where that could go. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys, I had a nice little Royal Rumble get together on Sunday. Had the ring crew over, minus Z, who was not feeling well, and Nick, who was not feeling like it was a smart idea to attend. And I get it. I understand it in every situation. Smitty was here. Walt was here. You guys checked out our Facebook. We posted the video of Walt when Edge won the Royal Rumble. No spoilers announcement because, look, it's been a fucking week. If you haven't watched the Royal Rumble, you're not a real wrestling fan. So you should know Edge won, and Walt went nuts. Almost not as nuts as he did when Edge made the surprise return last year. And he almost, again, fell out of a window at the Buffalo Wild Wings in downtown Detroit. But, you know.
And not a main floor window either. The second story window.
He had been playing hockey all day, which was why he wasn't on the show last week. Don't know why he's not here this week. He literally said in the fucking chat.
He's still waiting on Dave.
Yeah. And so if you saw, I posted the video of him celebrating, and he collapsed because his legs just gave out on him,
Yeah,
and it was pretty funny.
You sent me the end of it
Yeah.
almost instantly, and you're like, I don't have the full thing edited yet, but here's the end of it, and he's just like, I can't get up.
And I didn't even think. I think what I said was I don't have the beginning of it because I didn't start taping it until you said something, and then like the next day I remembered. I was like, oh wait, I have security cameras in my house. I totally have that. And as I was scrolling through it, like, dude, 15, 20 seconds before, Smitty's hand's just sitting in front of the view like this. Because it's like if it's over here, so you can see the security camera is. Let me move the microphone. That's the security camera. So obviously,
Okay.
Smitty being right here, he's sitting.
My
right
arm was on the
next to the couch.
armrest.
His arm was on an armrest. It's not like he was purposely blocking it. But I'm like, fuck, dude, I might not even get this. And then Smitty's hand goes down, and then Walt's, oh, and I was like, wow, he is center fucking frame too, looking directly at it, promoting that Shot Club shirt. Nice, I love it. So yeah, it was just happened to be the perfect storm watching it, man. Had a couple.
He went turtle.
Oh yeah, for sure. So let's talk about this, man. The Royal Rumble happened. It was good. It's not like it was the best Royal Rumble I've ever seen. Overall pay-per-view, like we said, there were matches that we were like, all right, cool, and then there were the Rumble matches. So let's this is not going to it at all, is it? Weird. How am I not getting this? This is the first time on a Wikipedia page they don't have the results of it, just the. Oh, there it is. Found it. Okay, so it started off with the pre-show match, and Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler became two-time women's tag team champions by defeating Asuka and Charlotte Flair, which for the first time you saw Charlotte take the pinfall in these matches. Normally it was always Asuka that was being beaten, so it was just like, the Raw Women's Champion just constantly taking all these falls, but to lose the belts, it was actually Charlotte that took the fall. So good on WWE, because we have talked a lot about overprotecting people. We even talked about it in our top 10 on how even Drew McIntyre has only had 5 losses in the entire year of 2020, right? More than 30 matches. Granted, it's pandemic, so, but again, 5 losses. Roman Reigns only had 2, but he was also gone for like 6 months, but it was
Has he lost since he's been back? I don't think so.
Yes,
I don't think so.
He has. His 2 losses actually came after his return.
Are they disqualifications?
I don't know if they're disqualifications or not. I just know that he's in the loss record. You're asking me about research I did 4 weeks ago, bro.
Now with Charlotte though,
before that.
With Charlotte though, they're still protecting her because she only lost due to distraction. It's like
Either way,
like the Cena loss.
I understand that, but like that's what the thing is though. When you go on this person never seems to take a pinfall, right? This person never seems to get a loss. Nobody's over on this person, but at least finally, you see. But again, and it's more so. It's happening other times too, because like I said, Drew McIntyre has taken 5 losses. Anyone on the run that he's in, outside of that, taking that one championship loss to get it back again, usually looks invincible. Like again, even Roman, since he's been back, took the 2 losses, right? You never saw Roman take a loss. Roman was, and that was part of the problem with Roman. It just seemed like no matter what, Roman would never lose. And same thing, like you guys said, with Cena. That's why the crowd started being very divided on Cena, because even in times where it was smart for Cena to lose, Cena was winning, therefore talent was being buried.
I.e. Nexus.
So bottom line is, hopefully WWE is at least learning a little something and trying to make it look like these people can be beaten. Because if what we're going to get in the future at WrestleMania for the Universal Championship happens, he needs to take a loss, right? So Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler becoming the 2-time champions. Obviously, like Z said, there was a distraction. Lacey Evans and Ric Flair came out. Lacey punched Charlotte with something fake in her hand because Rick couldn't get it out of his pocket, I'm assuming, because
They were the
that-
most natural looking brass knuckles I have ever seen. Like, wow, did they make it look inconspicuous?
I was thinking it was more of like a roll of quarters or something, like something you could put in someone's hand to not have the knucks on the front, but still have that hurt more. Because if you punch someone with a roll of quarters in your hand, it's gonna hurt them a lot more.
I was gonna say back
solid.
back when I used to bounce, I used to fold a lighter in my hand before I hit somebody. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It may have been something, but it was just the most horrible takeaway.
So
but,
Rick giving Lacey a roll of quarters from his pocket to hit his daughter.
yeah,
Yeah, why is he walking around with a roll of quarters? All the
Because,
dollar bills
man,
go away.
It's an innuendo.
he's
Dipping
yeah.
into that retirement fund.
Yeah, he's too rich to have a roll of pennies, bro. It's only 50 cents for a roll of pennies. He's rolling with $10.
Lacey grabbed a roll of quarter from Rick's pocket.
So are we okay with this? Are we getting the double championship off of Asuka so she can actually have an actual match at WrestleMania? We don't know against who. Probably Charlotte. Especially after the teasing on there. Nick, what are your thoughts on this? Good idea to move it along?
Yeah, it had to happen. And we were talking about it, I think, last week that they needed to take those belts off them. I don't know if we'll see Charlotte and Asuka. Like, that's the way that my mindset is going, but WWE has been kind of wonky lately. So I don't know, man. We'll see. Just sometimes they've been getting some things out there that maybe weren't expected, like didn't go the way that you kind of thought they would. But like, for instance, I immediately thought Charlotte and Asuka were okay. They're going to win these titles, and eventually we're going to see heel Charlotte again, and they're going to fight. They're going to, something's going to happen where they lose these titles because of either Asuka's fault or Charlotte's fault, and they're going to end up getting into a fight in the match or whatever. But they didn't really do that. They just played a storyline with each one of them outside of the tag team, and that's what kind of broke them up. So, but I think it would be a really good match. It would make sense, but I don't know, man. I don't know if we'll see it.
Z, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, my thoughts are we have 2 pay-per-views before WrestleMania. So
Is it 2? I thought it was just Fastlane.
no, it's Elimination Chamber and Fastlane.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You got one in February, one in March.
Yeah.
So you have ample opportunity to kind of sew up this Lacey Evans feud in the next 2 pay-per-views. So you could potentially see Charlotte. It does look like they're kind of slow playing the Lacey Evans feud because I mean she's been taunting Charlotte for weeks and they still haven't had like an actual match.
Yeah.
So that could be your WrestleMania match, which I would be okay with, but then it begs the question of who would Asuka face? Like, would Bianca Belair then challenge Asuka? She gonna, you know what I mean? With one of those things. So, I mean, there's a couple different ways they can go right now with it, and that's always a good thing for creative. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being Asuka versus Charlotte, or still hoping Becky comes back at the Elimination Chamber and we see Asuka versus Becky for the belt that Becky never lost. So
Yeah.
I would like to see a triple threat even with Lacey, Asuka, and Charlotte at WrestleMania, and put the belt on Lacey.
Oh
yeah, that would be a nice little swerve, and with Rick in her corner, it's totally believable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Smitty.
No, I'm just glad. I'm really glad that they got the double title thing done. I don't think they should have put the belts on Charlotte and Asuka in the first place.
Why?
It was literally didn't make no sense have them both having the titles unless you were building for a Charlotte Asuka feud already.
Can I ask you a question, Smitty?
That's why I still believe that. What?
Do the women's tag titles at any point have they ever made sense? Who they're on or when they're defended?
When Bayley and Sasha had them that second time.
Yeah, but that's it. Every other one was just like, oh, they've had them and they've defended them 0 times in 6 months.
So answer your question. You said, have they ever made sense?
But even then, even the Charlotte Asuka ones had a lot more play with them. Like, I wouldn't say as much as Bayley Sasha, but you saw more activity with these than with anyone else. I think the Kabuki Warriors are a close second to that. You know,
they were the only one that actually went cross brand.
yeah, and it made sense. But again, the whole thing is, they gave the title to Charlotte. Period. Let's just be very honest.
Just to give it to her, so then she could have all the titles.
Just like fucking Bayley had.
And Sasha.
Did Sasha win Money in the Bank?
Oh, no,
Sasha is not one Money in the Bank.
I was talking all the titles, not.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So Bayley still has more accomplishments because she's won Money in the Bank, but Charlotte has now had the tag titles, so therefore
and
she's
a
a
Rumble
winner and all the titles.
I think Asuka's the only one to have everything.
Yeah.
Only thing she hasn't had is the Diva title, which is no longer available.
Yeah, but
Charlotte has that.
Bayley didn't do that.
Yes, but Charlotte is the only one that have almost the Diva title, which is no longer active.
Exactly. So yeah, I can't say that it was a problem that they gave them the titles, because at least it put them. They were used a lot into feuds to build, and even if it's not Asuka versus Charlotte, it was still the titles were still in there and used. Plus, Nia Jax getting the pinfall over Charlotte for that win is a stronger thing than pinning Asuka. Let's be very honest. I love Asuka. I'm not knocking her or anything, but Charlotte Flair is the shit in the women's division. She is your number one. You know, she is athletic. She can talk. She fucking runs. She is a worker. She is who the upper echelon is. You know, obviously we talk about the 4 horsewomen of WWE, and you can't argue that your top 4 women in the women's divisions of WWE are those 4 ladies. You know, and Becky hasn't even been there for a fucking year.
Although, if they book Shayna Baszler correctly for this past year or year and a half she's been on the main roster, she would be in that upper echelon.
I can't even. I can't argue that. I agree. I think.
Well, I mean, the only reason she's not is booking. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
And Alexa Bliss should be up there, but they've kind of been wonky with her booking over the last year as well.
I don't know, man. She's on fire right now, and I don't mean that in any kind of pun. Like I said it for our top 10. I put her in a spot that nobody agreed with, and the story just keeps building. And I mean, you could see Alexa versus Asuka for the title at WrestleMania. Like she's already got the win, and nobody would argue it. It would make sense. But the little story they're doing with Alexa makes me wonder, like, is this how it is? Is the Fiend character like the Joker? Like sometimes he's around, but then sometimes other people embody the Joker, kind of like from Gotham, so to say. Because that would be interesting, and I thought the next victim should be Carlito.
All right. Up next,
Exploding apples.
The Royal Rumble kicked off officially with Drew McIntyre and Goldberg. McIntyre defended his title, which a lot of people were worried about. It started off with a whole bunch of fighting that led outside the ring, to where McIntyre took a spear through the barricade, got up, took another spear. McIntyre fucked up a jackhammer, then took another spear. He took another spear and a jackhammer, and then finally hit the Claymore. And I think he hit a second or third Claymore. No, 2. It was second Claymore, and then he got the pin on Goldberg to retain the WWE Championship. I saw a lot of talk about this match beforehand, where a lot of people were worried, and I was one of the people who was also worried. But I said, look, man, if McIntyre goes over Goldberg, I don't see a problem here, because that's what good legends should do. I understand that there's a draw for Goldberg, but we just saw it last year. It's not something that is a wow factor anymore. If every time he shows up, he takes a title, who fucking cares? We know what's going to happen. So a lot of people were worried. This time, he didn't take the title. He got a fucking concussion. It was good for what it should have been. It was a Goldberg match that put over a younger dude, and then Goldberg showed his respect afterwards. Again, putting Drew over in many ways. Nobody kicked out of a fucking jackhammer. Nobody. Not Lesnar, nobody. McIntyre kicked out of a fucking jackhammer. So in my eyes, this match was wonderful. Smitty, I can't wait to hear your opinion on this. And then whoever wants to go after him, because I got to run and grab something.
So this match, I was one of the people that was worried about Goldberg possibly going over because it's kind of been a trope over the last few years. But I'm glad Drew won, and I'm just wondering what's next for Drew at this point. Who's next for Drew? No
Sheamus,
pun intended.
he's gonna cry about his best friend.
Yeah, well, we all know
pussy.
Sheamus is fodder going into Mania.
I knew that Goldberg was losing that match when Goldberg came out in shorts. And I have a feeling that the reason Goldberg came out in shorts is because they realized how little he looked standing next to Drew. And they're like, oh, we can't put this guy over. Goldberg's legs look like pencils compared to just Drew's legs. Like Drew's leg was bigger than Goldberg in general. So when he came out in shorts, I was like, okay, he's not going over because they made him come out in shorts because they want to cover up how small his legs look compared to Drew's. But it was a good spot.
Big sweaty men.
I'm just saying, like when you stood Goldberg, like when you had Goldberg on Raw and he challenged him, he was in jeans and a hoodie and a jacket. He looked bigger. But when he was in his ring gear, I mean, he was still. I mean, for his age, he is in really good shape. But
Jacked.
but he's not jacked like he was back in, 96. But for a 53-year-old dude, I wouldn't want to wrestle him in a parking lot.
We were talking about that a little bit. Actually,
the world's scariest Jew.
We said that Goldberg is one of those guys that as he's aged, his muscle hasn't turned to flab. Like even Flair still had muscle, but his skin was sagging and shit, and you never saw that. You don't see that with Goldberg at all. Like no matter which angle they caught, Goldberg is just fucking jacked.
Okay, so I did notice he does have a little bit of I call it the old man sag, kind of like what you're talking about. It's when he like right by his bicep, he's got a little bit of loose skin right here, but that's like the only portion I could notice that it's almost like aging muscle. It's not even like he doesn't work out. It kind of just happens.
Right.
But with Flair was never as ripped as Goldberg. So
right.
Flair just had, a bunch of fat. And then when he stopped working out, it just became fat, but he's still out there, deadlifting 475 pounds. So.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, fuck. Nick, did you give your opinion on this? Or did Smitty finish his opinion? Or did Z cut him off?
No,
I kind of segued into it.
Right.
Yeah,
we did a nice little roundabout thing.
Well, good, man. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, my opinion. Okay, so let's move the fuck on then.
Oh, no, I didn't get mine yet.
Nick,
okay. Okay, sorry. Let's move the fuck on then. No.
Fuck you.
Go ahead, Nick.
Well, I kind of agree with Smitty. I was slightly worried because that worry is always going to be there. When Goldberg comes out, that he'll take the title. But I didn't think the match was as terrible as I thought it might be. I'm glad it was under 5 minutes. There's no way it needed to be. It didn't need to be any more than that. So you're saying Goldberg got a concussion. Do you know how he got it? Was it from
the first fucking move of the match?
Okay,
as soon as the bell rang, he runs into Drew in the corner, and Drew goes to counter. Goldberg wasn't expecting a counter. Bell fucking rung. Like the fucking match.
So I listened to Busted Open Tuesday after Goldberg had challenged Drew and did the spear on Drew, or it was the week they both came back after Drew had COVID. And Goldberg hits him with the spear. And Bubba was talking about how he looks down when he does the spear. So he thinks that he actually gave himself a concussion that night. And it was probably lingering going into the Rumble, because the way he does the spear now, he doesn't have it. It's not like a proper tackle. He doesn't have his head up. He just drives his head right into the mat when he does it. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, because that's how he fucked himself up in the Undertaker match.
He'd still have to pass a concussion protocol.
But what if they, yeah, you're right. I mean, not saying that they do a proper one, but you're absolutely.
And even at the same time, he only would have to pass a concussion protocol though if they thought he had a concussion.
Well, not
So-
only that, but you could it's kind of like once you get a concussion, you're more easily susceptible to getting another one. So just
he
because he
definitely
passed
had
doesn't
one-
mean a flick in the head could give him another one. You know what I mean?
Right, and he definitely had one during that Undertaker match in Saudi Arabia. So
Yeah, he had no idea what the fuck was going on.
I mean, you could tell that Goldberg was fucked up because of just he went on adrenaline, right? And then the match is over. Goldberg was not right. Even when they cut to him walking up the ramp, they all of a sudden stopped cutting to him because he fell back to a knee even on the ramp. And yeah, Drew went to block that, and Goldberg wasn't expecting a block. And so it's random. It's no one's fault. It's just
Shit happens.
yeah, exactly. But man, was he dazed. Continue, Nick. I'm sorry.
Mm-mm. That's really it. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can say about a 2-minute match, but I'm really glad Drew won. It was a pretty big sigh of relief.
2 minutes and 30 seconds, sir. Stop.
Okay, so this is what I get confused about when it comes to the scorecard, right?
Mhm.
It's from bell to bell.
Yeah.
But now they talked about how the match didn't start, but they actually rang the bell before they announced the people. So technically, wasn't the match started?
No,
Did you notice that?
That they always do that, and that's the in between. That's the signal that it's a new segment.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't notice the bell for like other matches. I just noticed that they rang the bell, they did the introductions, but then they got into a fight outside the ring, and then they're like, the match didn't start.
You've never
And I was
noticed
like,
that? Yeah, they know they ding ding.
I know,
and
but
then you hear the announcer.
I notice it sometimes, but I don't. It's almost like they don't do it consistently, or I just am not paying attention to them doing it consistently.
I kind of feel that way too. I don't know if maybe we don't notice, but I've definitely noticed it before, but I've definitely not noticed it.
It's
Right,
It's
that's what
similar
I'm-
to like MMA or boxing. It's before the announce. It's the signal the announcer can talk, and so it's ding ding, and then the announcer talks, and then ding for the match start.
Okay.
And so, all right. Second match, the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Sasha Banks defending against Carmella with a submission, even though Reginald was there. So we saw Carmella lose another title shot against Sasha Banks. Z, we'll start with you this time.
Talking about Carmella
And
losing
Sasha,
again
yeah.
to Sasha. Oh,
The match.
I really enjoyed. I liked the match. I don't really. Well, no. See, okay. My problem with this is I don't really understand Carmella's character.
Okay.
But I do like the fact that they're using it to kind of integrate a man versus a woman in a match. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
Reginald against Sasha, and then obviously going, foreshadowing into the further week, like he keeps getting involved with other women. So it's a nice little segue there, but I really don't care about this feud. Like, I really don't. And I'm glad Sasha retained. It wasn't a bad match. Carmella does look like she has improved her in-ring skills. I don't care about it. And they haven't really done anything to invest my interest in it. I'm more invested in watching Reginald get beat up by women than I am watching Carmella and Sasha wrestle. So this match was okay. I'm glad Sasha went over, and yeah, that's about it.
All right. Nick.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. It was nice to see Carmella, and I can't think of the name of the move that she uses, but where she grabs her
Silence.
leg. Yeah, and because she's been having trouble getting that move over lately, and she finally got it. What kind of surprised me was at the end when Sasha got her in the bank statement, how quick Carmella tapped. Like a lot of times in those matches, we'll see that finisher, that submission finisher once, twice, even 3 times. And, the person taking the finisher will reach the ropes or they'll reverse it or break out of it somehow. And you didn't see that. It was like almost instantaneous. Sasha locked it in. 2 seconds later, Carmella tapped. So it was kind of weird to see, but whatever. I don't care about it that enough to dive into it. Too much.
I think that was because the Goldberg and Drew match went over the 1 minute it was scheduled for, so they had to hurry up that match.
Fair.
We got to get this shit done.
Normally, that's a whole situation of depending on the competitor that the winner is taking on. You know, sometimes if it takes more than one finisher, it means that that's a much stronger competitor. Sometimes if it's a real quick submission, it means why the fuck was this person here again?
Yeah, it's like think of it like a video game. Everyone's got certain powers, and like Charlotte Flair has more power, so she can take the bank statement a couple times, whereas Carmella was just done out of power, just finished.
Low tier character.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. Smitty, your thoughts on it? I love
like it was
Sasha
there.
Banks is awesome.
Yeah, I feel like it was there. This is like the 200th time that they've already done this. Like I said, I feel like it was a waste of Carmella's comeback. Well, Carmella, I feel like they should have built more momentum before her going into this feud with, especially with her losing the way she has been losing. And Virgil, her new Virgil is it's Virgil Ellsworth.
Well, hold on.
Virgil Ellsworth.
Reggie is way more athletic than Virgil ever was.
This is Virgil.
And way more hair.
That too.
Well, your thoughts on the Sasha Banks Carmella match?
It was on the Royal Rumble.
It was there.
But seriously, it was what it was. I don't really care about Carmella. I never really have. Like, the most interesting she's ever been to me is when she was in NXT with Enzo and Cass, and that's kind of like her in-ring work is her in-ring work. I don't think she's terrible, but you know, Sasha Banks Carmella, I watched that entire match because I was watching a live pay-per-view. If it was SmackDown, I would have fast-forwarded.
Fair.
100%.
Up next is the Women's Royal Rumble. We had a winner of Bianca Belair. A lot of people thought that she could take the win. She definitely did. Not only that, she lasted the longest of anyone else. She came out number 3. She lasted 56 minutes and 52 seconds. Bayley came out number 1. Naomi number 2. They started it off. The eliminations, the record was held up, but Rhea Ripley had 7. I believe that tied Bianca Belair's elimination record. Shayna Baszler had 6. Bianca Belair had 4. Nia Jax had 4. As far as your time goes for people that lasted in the match, again, Bianca Belair with the longest with the 56 minutes. Naomi went 47 minutes and 39 seconds. Baszler went 41 minutes and 46 seconds. So I guess then the situation goes to, how did you feel about the Rumble? What did you think was a good takeaway from it? And what are you hoping they build through other little stories that were happening throughout it? Walt, we'll start with you.
I enjoyed the Women's Rumble match. I was happy that Bianca.
Frozen Walt.
Oh.
Frozen Walt. Is Z frozen too?
No, Z's here.
All right. Smitty, tell me what you think since Walt died. Wait.
He's back.
Walt,
he's back. He's back.
We heard nothing.
Oh, shit.
I'm happy Bianca Belair won. That's what it was. We heard nothing.
Okay. I'll start over here.
Let's see it.
All right. So anyway, I'm happy. I'm glad Bianca Belair won.
Heard that already.
Yeah, I know. Shut up.
Now you're just repeating yourself.
I enjoyed the creativity they had with the Alexa Bliss spot with having her get eliminated. Mid transformation, which that can kind of set something else up as well, because who was it, Charlotte or Rhea that eliminated?
It was Rhea.
It was Rhea.
It was like, fuck that shit.
So I think that's something that they can use to build upon, like in the future, because usually they will use little moments in WrestleMania matches to build feuds later on down the road. So I thought that was pretty cool. Seeing the two of the most dominant women in NXT of the last few years, and Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley being the final two there at the end, and almost having the Davey Boy, not the Davey Boy, but the Lex Luger. You got the Lex Luger and Bret Hart finish kind of a little bit with them both kind of going over, where it kind of looked like both Bianca's feet touched the ground, but we just won't ever show that replay again. We'll freeze it right before both her feet touch.
I've gone back. Her feet didn't touch.
Yeah, her feet.
The photo makes it look like they're touching because it's a quick spot, a quick second. But those feet constantly were moving. They were never at one point ever stopped going, oh shit, I'm on the floor. No, her feet never touched the fucking ground. People need to stop with that rumor right now.
Well, I know I'm not
She's
saying
not The Rock.
I don't know. I honestly have no idea what picture you're talking about. I'm just saying, like, just from watching it, it looked like you can make a case that maybe both her feet touched just from watching it live because it was so quick. And then how they did the little package on Raw where they froze that frame and like cut out real quick. You know, kind of like I feel like just kind of a play, like no, she's fine. I don't know what picture you're talking about though. Honestly, like I didn't even know that was a thing.
I think even we shared it.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to everything I see on the internet.
That's true.
But
Anything else?
overall, yes, no, that's it. I enjoyed the women's Royal Rumble match, and I enjoyed the Naomi spot in the ring.
Which one?
The Jimmy Uso spot she did. I'll let you guys think about it. When she pogoed in the ring.
You mean a Kofi spot?
No. When she got on her knees and bounced her ass up and down in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Jimmy Uso spot.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it's riding it. All right, Smitty, your thoughts?
The cakiest Rumble of all time. So much cake in that ring.
Oh, okay. Wow.
I'm happy that Bianca won as well.
Because of the Anka Belair. Gross.
But it's also I was more worried about like where they're gonna progress a Charlotte Oscar thing. So for some reason I really had a thought in my head they was gonna have Charlotte be a 2-time Royal Rumble winner. But I still think they're gonna do it eventually. But I was glad it wasn't now. I did enjoy the Women's Rumble, not just for the cakes.
Cake. There was so much ass in that ring at one point.
Yeah.
It's so goddamn ridiculous.
That's what I said. Cakiest Rumble ever. Favorite. I'm kind of wondering what they're going to do. Like, I'm starting to get a little bit more interested in this whole Riot Squad Billy Kay thing a little bit more. I want to see where they want to go with that because I think Billy Kay on SmackDown right now is one of those fun things to watch, kind of like an art Truth on Raw almost.
He is my headshot.
Yeah, so I'm kind of a little bit more interested in seeing how that goes. Yeah, and I think Billy Kay was really funny during the Rumble too, like trying to find somebody to team up with, and she picks of all people Jillian Hall.
Billy and Jilly.
Yeah. And then she gets torn when Peyton Royce gets in the ring. Because you have the Riot Squad, Jillian, and then Peyton's in the ring, and that pretty much leads her downfall. So it was fun. The Ladies Rumble was fun for me.
All right, Nick.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too, and the whole Billy and Jilly thing. I think that was a perfect fit because they both have that like annoying tone in their own way, so they matched up pretty well. I thought that worked really well. I didn't like the fact that they had so many of those spots where somebody was hanging on the outside of the ring and their feet were dangling. Like, I think that's okay, but I think it was a little bit overdone. That's just my opinion. I don't think Bianca's feet ever touched. I'm sick of seeing that picture too. The first time I saw it, although it was funny, I was like, but her feet didn't touch. Just like you said, Mikey, there wasn't a point where they stopped on the floor. So if you can get away with that, or excuse me, if Naomi can get away with landing on the floor and laying on her back and you're not saying, well, her feet didn't touch, then Bianca can get away with her feet, hovering over the floor in some aspect.
Right.
Speaking of Naomi, I'm not a fan of that either. Like, okay, I get the rule that both feet must touch the ground, but your fucking back is on the floor. You're out. I'm sorry. You're out.
I was gonna touch upon that too. Like, I hated that spot. Like, it's one thing. Like, it's basically every Rumble you watch now, ever since Kofi started doing it, has a spot like that.
John Morrison started doing it. John Morrison kicked that off.
Yeah.
Spider-Man on the barricade.
But again, when Morrison did it, not a single body part touched the floor. He jumped from the ring to the barricade and then ran the barricade. But now getting, in the past couple Rumbles, you're getting people that have literally like fallen flat on their back. Like in football, the rule is if your knee's down, you're down. But if your elbow's down, you're also down. You know what I mean? Like, so I understand that both feet have to touch the floor. So if you're dangling from the ropes,
why are you complaining if you understand that? Those are rules. Both feet have to touch the floor.
Oh, come on.
Your back and feet. No. They say 46 times throughout the match, both feet have to touch the ground.
Right, because of spots like this. That's why they have to say it.
Like Kofi stepping on pancakes.
Okay, sorry, Nick, I kind of cut you off. I'll let you finish.
No, but I mean the way that you're referencing like football, that's how my mind, thought of it too. And not to say obviously they're not the same thing, but you have these rules in other sports where you have to have 2 feet in bounds with control of the ball, or there's another variation of it that might get you a catch. Well, this is one of those variations that should lead to you being out of the Royal Rumble. Yeah, okay, there's a 2 feet rule, but there's got to be a caveat to that. If your fucking back is on the ground, you're on the ground. You're on the ground. You're not touching the ring. You're not touching the barricade, the stairs, the tables, anything like that. You're on the fucking ground. You're out. So I had those small issues with it, but it was still a good Royal Rumble, good Women's Royal Rumble. I really enjoyed it, regardless of that stuff.
Z, carry on your point now.
All right. So what I was going to say is, although I am sick of every body part but your feet are on the ground, you're still in the match, I did like how she used Bianca's hair to kind of roll herself back into the ring. She Rapunzeled the shit out of it, and that spot was pretty cool. It would have just been, I guess you can't really have her land in a different way to do that spot. So for the sake of the spot, whatever. But going forward, like in Royal Rumbles, I'm kind of sick of somebody getting completely eliminated. Everything, like literally, like their ankle's on the ground, but their foot isn't, so it doesn't count. I'm as a fan, I'm kind of sick of that. I really like what they did with the foreshadowing they did when Rhea eliminated Alexa, because on the announce table, as she eliminates her, she goes, wow, Rhea wasn't even fazed by what was going on. And Rhea is also called the Nightmare. And then you have, the little funhouse thing. Like there's a lot to work with there. I don't know if they will go for it this WrestleMania or even at the next pay-per-view, but it's kind of like Walt was saying earlier, it's a little bit of seed planting, and they can use that down the road somewhere with those two, and it'll be really good. Overall, the Women's Royal Rumble, to me, I think was almost more entertaining than the men's. It was a little bit of a spot fest, but this is what their third or fourth Royal Rumble. Like, go out there, do your shit, so show what you can do. I really liked Liv's homage to Shawn Michaels. I don't even know if that was what she was trying to do, but
I thought it was Christina Aguilera.
I thought it was Christina Aguilera.
Video.
I don't know. I saw the assless chaps.
It's her paying homage to Christina Aguilera, paying homage to Shawn Michaels.
Okay, got it. That makes sense then.
HBL.
Yeah, and I really liked the end of when it was just Rhea and Bianca, and it kind of shows you the future, because Bianca's still just recently on the main roster within the past year. and then Rhea's still kind of in limbo of what brand she's on. So it's kind of showing you the future of the women's division, and it's not, and it didn't include really any of the 4 horsewomen. It included a bunch of people from NXT. So yeah, I think they did a great job with the women's Royal Rumble.
I have to agree with you guys. I was a huge fan of the Women's Royal Rumble. I loved the fact that it was Bianca Belair, a future star that I've always thought that's what the Royal Rumble should be. You're pushing your next star. Granted, I get that sometimes it falls into older people and people who deserve a good push, but I feel like it should always be for the possibility of elevating someone. I feel there was a real good thing when you had Asuka win and you had Shinsuke win that year. I thought it looked like it was the start of something great. Obviously, for half of that, it wasn't. But again, Bianca Belair winning was the right call. I loved the Alicia Fox spot where R-Truth comes out and he's like, wrong Rumble, and then loses the 24/7 title to her, obviously only just to win it back. That helped a lot of our scorecards with unscheduled appearances. Hopefully, Z, we don't know.
Yeah, the 24-hour bunch.
And then, like you said, there was a lot of many spots in there that were good, that played into something. My opinion on the Naomi thing is you're pushing it, right? Like, I agree. I don't think she was out because obviously that's the fucking rules. But you're pushing the technicalities, right?
Mhm.
Like, it's not like when Kofi did the handstand, right? And he, walked on his hands to get to the steps. Again, that's all the part of his body that touched the floor were his hands. Then there's other times where they were on fucking chairs and pushed themselves over or walked on chairs or like, and I'm not even blaming Naomi because I agree. I think the pancake one was fucking stupid last year. I even said, I was like, it's ingenious, but he's stepping on a fucking plate of pancakes, right? Like,
Which is on the floor. Like, if the floor is lava, you lose.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's kind of how it should be, is the floor is lava. Like, I'm all right if you fucking get your, you're on the chair or something across. I can get with that. But you're stepping on a fucking plate of pancakes. I was like, bro.
Even hopping on one leg. Like, even if like you're doing hopscotch and both feet don't simultaneously touch the floor, I can get behind. But
as
again,
long as it's the same
body
foot that's always touching the floor.
Right.
Right.
Again, I think they took a lot of liberties last year with the pancakes. I think they took a lot more liberties this year with it. But at the same time, it's still 2 feet have to touch the floor. So we're just setting up the Royal Rumble spot. That's all it is. It's just I don't think outside of getting back into the ring, the staying not eliminated part was stupid, right? It's just you're pushing the limit a little bit too far.
Go
ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say one spot that I don't think anyone touched upon was Baszler and Jax. After they got eliminated, they went back in to the ring, and that is for me old school Royal Rumble, like old school, like early '90s Royal Rumble.
Going through,
people would get mad that they got eliminated and go back in the ring and eliminate somebody else.
I was thinking like Kai and Tai when Taka Michinoku fucked himself up when they kept interfering in the Rumble. They came in like 3 times.
That was I remember watching that.
Yeah, me too. I don't remember the end because we were kind of drunk, but it happened.
The Rock wins. Technically, the Rock wins.
Yeah, so that was I did think it was a fun Royal Rumble. Like I said, this Royal Rumble was more about pushing the future because even when you talk about who had the most eliminations, right? It was Bianca, Rhea, Shayna, right? The final 3 again is Bianca, Rhea, Charlotte, and Charlotte is eliminated, right, by them. So again, Charlotte twice in one pay-per-view put people over. Okay, she took major losses, a major loss on the pre-show, and then made Bianca and Rhea even stronger. For a lot of people, go ahead.
I was saying, which is really good because they've pushed her to the moon to the point where she has 10 women's, 10, 11, I don't know, was it 12 now, women's championships. She's had every title. she
5
can
times SmackDown, 4-time Raw.
she can start putting talent over and it won't hurt her character. She can literally go on a 1-year losing streak. Then you just turn the gas back on Charlotte. And now you have all these new competitors for Charlotte that are legitimized.
Yeah. And that's what's awesome about it, because a lot of people were giving WWE shit about putting Charlotte over Rhea at WrestleMania. But again, if you think about it, it was Rhea's first time taking on Charlotte. If you go back to old school booking, you never won the title the first time you took it on. You rarely won against the big star at WrestleMania. It's just old school booking. I'm not mad. They had a great match. I wanted Rhea to win. I'm not pissed off that she lost, right? It started her on another journey in another career, in another tenure of her fucking career. And look at her now.
Well, she hasn't touched a title since that loss.
And she's supposedly coming up to the main roster now.
But like you said, old school long-term booking where, okay, we have this match. Everyone's high on Rhea. We know we have 2 superstars. We let Charlotte go over. Now we're going to do this long played out, story. And 3 years from now, you're going to have Rhea versus Charlotte with the opposite outcome, but it's all going to come together and it's going to be amazing.
And even Z said it back when we were talking about it back then. He was like, look, you can't appreciate the wins if you're not taking any losses, no matter what they are. And that's what it is, man. You have to be able to lose, which again goes back to the whole, I'm happy to see that there's some sort of elevation, that WWE's not just putting out win, believe in this person. And they're going, hey, people can lose. So hopefully they win again. Obviously the further down the tier you are, you're going to take way more losses, but in big spots, you have to take a loss. So the next time you win, it's that much bigger, right? When Rhea Ripley was, so Charlotte Flair was eliminated by both of them, right? And the announcer said Rhea's getting her comeuppance from last WrestleMania to where she's getting rid of Charlotte. That's a moment. She lost, and it was able to be used to then promote her further now. It's just how it goes. I get it. We can harp on this all day. You have to sometimes trust the process. I get WWE doesn't have a lot of good processes.
Well, hold on.
People, they usually do.
I trust their process now because it looks like something changed, and I don't know if it's just because they're doing a reboot because ratings are so low, or if something's changed to where they're actually trying to build new stars instead of keeping their stars in place, or at least that seems to be the trend. We'll see if it keeps going, because normally they end up shooting themselves in the foot at some point. But in that Royal Rumble, Rhea Ripley came out of it with 2 solid feuds, and she's not even on the main roster yet.
There you go. All right, so Bianca won. The smart money is to say they keep people on the same show with their spouses. She's married to Montez Ford. They're both on SmackDown. Smart money says she's going against Sasha. Z, I'm going to start with you. Give me the pros and cons of her facing Asuka. Why she should face Asuka over Sasha.
I to be completely honest, just because I don't want to see it. I can't really. Well, yeah, I mean that's a con. I don't want to see it, but I think it's really the only downfall I can think of her versus Asuka, only because I think her and Asuka would have a great match. The powerhouse versus the striker. That could be, that could potentially be a match of the year candidate. So I mean, other than I don't want to see it and splitting up her and her husband, there's really not a con to her facing Asuka. So I mean that's just my opinion though.
Okay, I mean, other than you not wanting to see it, I get that. Smitty, give me the pros and cons of her facing Sasha.
Pros of facing Sasha, black girl excellence. First and foremost.
Gee, I didn't see that coming.
I should have went to Nick.
Uh-huh. You went to the nickel, huh?
No, the Koenig.
Ah.
But yeah, no. So I would be really interested in seeing Sasha versus Bianca Belair. I think no matter I don't understand why they're not even talking about Io at this point, because she's all. I think no matter who Bianca goes against, which we all think is going to be Sasha, it's going to be an excellent match. It's going to be one of those top. It's going to be one of those top tier matches on this WrestleMania card. The only con, I don't want to see either of those women lose.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what did you
But
just
somebody
say?
gotta win,
How is
somebody
that
gotta
the?
lose.
So that's the only con is you don't want to see either of them lose.
That's the one I can think of right now because I would be really excited to see that match. But somebody got to lose, and
Well, I mean, my thought process is if you do Bianca versus Shane or Sasha in an Iron Woman match for an hour at WrestleMania, I will sit there with my box of popcorn and just enjoy the shit out of that match because I think both of those women could go for 60 minutes and it would be amazing.
but also another kind. I think it's not just going to be Sasha versus Bianca. I think they're going to try to incorporate Carmella as well somewhere in there.
I have one other problem with just this as a whole is so who's getting the main event at WrestleMania? Because if you listen to Edge talk about it, he's going to the main event of WrestleMania. But if you hear the women talk about it, they're going to
Co-main event. Who's the final person? Edge versus Roman. I just sent a message. You guys look at that. Nick, tell me which one you'd prefer to see, Asuka or Sasha. And yeah, check that message. I'll be right back.
I would personally rather see Asuka not Asuka. Bianca and Sasha. Whether it's a 5-minute match or an Iron Woman match, they're going to put on a hell of a show. I think just go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, I think just because they just did that obstacle course with Bailey and showed what Bianca can do, like she had to pick up Otis and walk 30 feet or whatever it was, and they're showing off her athleticism. So if we're playing off of that, you could easily write a story into a Iron Woman match, whether it be 30 or 60. But in my opinion, it's not an Iron person match unless it's 60 minutes. That's what I was. It's a 60-minute Broadway, but there has to be a winner.
Well, and
you got 2 nights on WrestleMania.
Well, we haven't seen that kind of match in WWE for the women. You know what I mean? Not that I can recall, anyway. So that's
you
another.
Did. You got it on NXT with Sasha and Bailey.
That's NXT. I'm talking about WWE, SmackDown or Raw, something that the masses are seeing. There hasn't been a 60-minute women's Iron Woman match.
No, even the one Smitty's referring to, I believe, was a half an hour.
But I would personally rather see those two. I think it makes more sense right now. Bianca just took out Bailey. Now she's going after the former best friend, the former tag team partner. The con for me personally, I think, is the fact that Bianca's not going to win. Like Z, you were saying, you don't go out there on your first championship match and win the title. I think once in a blue moon, that's a good thing that they do, and I think you could see that here. But I think the odds are that you won't.
See, I have to disagree with you there. This is one of those instances where if you had again, going with how they've been building Bianca as far as her athleticism in every category goes, it would be believable if they went for 60 minutes and then Bianca took it because like you said, you rarely see it. So seeing it makes it very special. And to do it with a woman like Bianca, who is very skilled in every aspect of wrestling, that it wouldn't be a bad thing. And then from
Those
there,
are gimmick as well.
well, yeah. I mean, well, it feels organic. I mean, who knows? They could have planned it, but then you have matchups like Rhea versus Bianca and all this shit we saw in NXT, but now we get to see it on the main roster. So by having her beat Sasha, it opens the door for lack of a better term, the new generation of women to come in and do their thing. But the one thing I am looking forward to, and the one main reason I want her to face Sasha, is the mic work leading up to that match between those two is going to be fucking amazing.
Yeah, I
That's
can
it.
definitely see that.
So moving on. What were your highs and your lows for the KO and Roman match? We'll go with Nick first.
Man, I really enjoyed it. I got to say that first and foremost. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. Kevin Owens, I mean, over the last 6 months or so, even though he's been gone and he comes back, he goes back and forth. He's got to be one of my favorite wrestlers right now because that dude can go. He puts on a show. He sells. His mic work, just all in all, he's fucking fantastic. And in a match against Roman Reigns like that, he fucking stole the show. And honestly, so did Roman. Now, that being said, with the botch at the end.
Which botch are you referring to?
With the handcuffs. I wasn't as mad as a lot of people are. Like, I see a lot of comments where, people are just bitching and this and that, all the referee and, coming out and restarting the count and whatever. I'm not as mad as a lot of people are because it's live television. Mistakes happen. The handcuffs apparently were flipped. Like the keyhole, from what I read, was on the wrong side, and they just had an issue with it. Like, what are you gonna do?
But okay, now hold on. Now
I got something to say about that too.
I was gonna say I didn't really see that as a botch. I guess I really wasn't paying that much attention to it, and it makes sense. A new ref comes out, new count. I mean, you could wrap a story around that as well. But my thought is, if it really was a botch, why not just have Roman break him off? Just pull his wrist real hard because they didn't use like high quality fucking handcuffs. So then not only does it not look like a botch, but then it makes Roman look even fucking stronger.
Yeah.
See,
well, I agree with that. But what I was going to say, and then I'll be done. But I do like, and I was listening to Busted Open. They brought this up, and I realized that it was a really good cover up. Is the fact that Roman kind of got to 2 feet. So we're going back to the whole 2 feet idea from not the same thing as a Royal Rumble, but you got to be on your feet in a last man standing match. So Roman kind of put the other foot underneath him, and Corey Graves made sure to point that out, in the middle of that second referee counting. So I think
what do you mean middle?
He
stopped counting for a minute.
Yeah, so they kind of covered it up a little bit. I think that part of it worked really well.
They did not cover that up very well.
That was my problem with it, is that the ref just stopped counting. And it wasn't so much that the ref stopped counting, it's then shortly after that, Roman did stand up, even though his hand was still connected. So it was still possible for him to stand up. Now, granted, it was a great spot with the first ref because Roman doesn't know he can stand up, right? Roman's like, oh man, the ref is already at fucking 7 and I'm fucking connected. And then at 9, he, knocks the ref out. Cool. Other ref comes out. Roman could have stood up or figured out something out of that right then. I also agree with you guys. It's a live show. You're trying to go with how it's moving. But the problem is the minute the ref stops counting, right? And in a last man standing match, it's not good. Like, he didn't stop counting at 2. He stopped counting at 6. Right? Like, it's not like he was like 1, 2, something's wrong. We'll figure it. Or like even Kevin falls and they got to restart the count. right? Or that could have been something else either. Like Kevin could have like sold and just fell, and now okay, well now that we have to
You
do
could
a
have added the
10
Jey
count,
Uso spot there.
And again, I get it. It's live TV, and there's shit that goes wrong all the time. And I'm not trying to take away from the match because Nick, like you were saying, it was a great match. It's wonderful watching. Seeing Kevin Owens do everything that he does is amazing. But it does right at the end, unfortunately, really fuck a really good match by how horrible that was. But at the same time, like I said, Roman still may not have realized he could stand up. Right. And it wasn't until now he's like, man, I got to fucking figure something out. And then he goes, maybe I can stand up. So then he stands up. Right. I get it. It does not take away from the fact that it really hurt the match for me. And Z, I get where you were saying too. It didn't seem like it was a major botch. But again, when a referee's at 6 and then all of a sudden just stops counting, it's like, maybe you should have just took the title off of him and then had Roman fucking win it back.
Okay. So
and be pissed off at Jey Uso.
I didn't notice the botch because when the first ref got to 9, I was actually like about to mark out, like I'm right about here. Like me and Allie are laying in bed and I'm like, is he about to win the title? Is he about to win the title? Is he about to win the title? And then Roman grabs the ref and puts him through the steel. And I was like, oh, that was so good. So good. So then I'm not even paying attention, and I'm like, oh, he's fucking with it. Oh, he must have lost the key or whatever. And then Heyman comes over. I wasn't even paying attention to the ref. I couldn't even tell you what number the ref was on, if he even started counting. I was kind of paying attention to what was going on with Roman and Paul and not being able to get the handcuffs off. So, I mean, granted, now that we're talking about it, I was like, oh yeah, looking at it from that perspective, like, yeah, that was really fucking dumb. But in the moment, as a fan, I wasn't even paying attention to it. I guess we'll just segue over to me then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
cool.
thought Nick, I assumed that it seemed like you had finished your thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Good to go.
I'm sorry, man. Smitty throws me off, because Smitty's the one who's always like, yeah, it's done. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. Oh, it's done. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. So yeah, Z, go ahead.
Favorite spot in the match is, I think KO took a spear. Yeah, I think it was a spear. And it was the type of spear where you're like, the match is over. And the ref gets to 9. And Kevin Owens casually rolls, and he's like on a 4-foot platform. So he's on the ground, and he's walking like he's out on his feet. And I was like, oh, dude, that was really good too. Because I mean, the camera angle they used, they didn't show that they were like on a platform or how hot, and if they did, they didn't really give you a perspective on how much of a drop it was. And KO literally just twists his hips, gets up, and starts walking like he, out on his feet. I really enjoy those kind of spots because they get me every time. I'm like, oh shit, where are they going to go with this? Is this the end of the match? And then, I like the new methodical pace that they have Roman working at. It really works for him. And it really works for everyone that he faces as well. I guess I kind of just like that kind of pacing in a match in general. It gives stuff time to develop. Unfortunately, you can't fix spots like the handcuff spot in, with stuff like that. But again, I also think you could have just had Roman break the chain, and then he looks even stronger, and that's kind of what you're going for. But hindsight's always 20/20. When you're in the moment, you're like, oh, what the fuck do I do? Right. Really good match. Those two have been putting on amazing matches. I just hope they don't overdo it. Like, I hope they don't give us too much too quickly, because this is one of those feuds, and the kind of gimmick matches these two can put on would be historical. Like, they would have some of the best matches. And granted, they're all going to be gimmicky matches, but all gimmicky matches that I would watch,
right,
100%.
Smitty.
I'm kind of was like, I was really into it until you got to the finish. Like the finish pretty much kind of negated lots of what I liked about the match.
I want a hop slam. Oh, it's not a hop slam, damn.
It's a key lime pie.
But like I say, some of the spots that I like the little pop shot they took at AEW with the golf cart and the forklift jump.
I would like to point out that KO took that golf cart way better than Sammy Guevara took that golf cart. All right, Sammy was
also,
"Oh, that hurt me," and KO's like, "I'm in the middle of the fucking cart, busting the fucking window out, bro." And then he just falls.
But those get like little pop shots they took at AEW with those spots there, because like Sammy took like there was the botch forklift jump from AEW with Matt Hardy, and then what?
I was gonna say when they went to the forklift, I was like, "Oh, is he gonna use the forklift and bring it down on Roman?" And like that's how we're gonna have the match. Like my mind just kept going to what they were gonna do, and to watch it.
Like the two little pop. They took the two little pop shots at AEW spots.
They did not actually. They only took one.
The forklift. Do you think the forklift jump was a pop shot?
Forklift was the only one.
And the golf cart spot.
Kane did it first.
What, a golf cart? Oh, yeah, you're
hardcore
right.
match.
Hardcore match.
There you go. Kane did
first, Sammy even go through?
No.
Did Sammy? Yeah, he was just chased by the golf cart, right?
No, he got hit by it.
He got hit by it.
He got clipped.
Not like KO was in the middle of it. It's like a
KO jumped into he jumped into the windshield of the golf cart. Sammy pretty much took a clip.
Kane did it first.
Yeah, Kane. That hardcore match with Big Show and Raven.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still going, Smitty?
Like I said, the finish just kind of threw me off.
Yeah. I can't argue that. Again, we're not shit talking the match, and it's a live thing. Something went wrong. Shit happens, right? I get it. I feel personally in those times you got to kind of just roll with it. Sometimes the wrong person has to win the match. It's not what you wanted, right? You could also do something later to where even on SmackDown, Roman could have won. You know, you could have had KO as the champion and everything. Again, that sets up even further of a feud. But I also understand that you're trying to get the finish of what you have to finish because it's setting up what could possibly happen in the future. All right. That being said, let's move on to the final match of the Royal Rumble, the men's Royal Rumble match, where a lot of people thought Daniel Bryan was going to win again. Very similar to the 2014 match, the Royal Rumble match. Everyone wanted Daniel Bryan to win, and then Rey Mysterio comes out at number 30 and gets booed out of the fucking building, right? And of course, Bautista starts and everything like that because he wins the match. And if you've anybody watched the 24 of Batista in that Royal Rumble match?
Where he said he wasn't excited about going over?
No, not at all. So nobody's watched it? So, okay. So
I've seen clips of it, but I haven't
Batista, they interviewed Batista afterwards, and he was like, you know, I kind of wish that the fans were a little bit more on my side. You know, I busted my ass for many years for doing this, and to come back, it's an honor, it's a privilege. And I mean, I get it. There's the guy that they want right now, but I feel like, you know, there's no reason why I couldn't have won it. And then, of course, you know, at the time, like, look, Batista, if you've been paying attention for the last 6 months, you'd understand why everyone wanted this dude to win, right? So you get it.
Well, not to mention, but embrace it and just be a bigger heel. Fuck it.
Right. Which he eventually did.
He did.
Right. You know, as a character and stuff. And even he said that he should have come back as a heel. He should not have been a face. So it should have made more sense. So Edge ends up winning this match. It is a Hall of Famer that has come back, and there's some criticism for why Edge shouldn't have won. Like, oh, Edge is an old school guy. He shouldn't have won. He should have given it to somebody else. Like, Daniel Bryan should have won. It's like, the thing though is Edge has admitted that he is now on a full-time WWE schedule. He is going to be there and wrestle. He might not wrestle every fucking show, but he's going to be there. As a matter of fact, he proved it this week when he was on Raw, NXT, and fucking SmackDown. Okay? Edge wins. He is the third number one to win.
Yep.
Fourth. Did Austin win number one?
No. Michaels, Benoit,
okay.
Edge.
So no. Benoit won from. Okay, Benoit started the match, but Benoit won from the number 2 spot. Shawn Michaels. Was it the one?
Yes.
And then Ray won it from the 2 spot.
Yeah, Ray won it from the 2 spot.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's Shawn Michaels and Edge, like I said.
According to WWE.
Which I'll be very honest. Originally, they were talking that Orton and Ed. Orton was number 1 and Edge was number 2, right? And then Orton comes out second. That right then, I was like, wait, I thought Orton was number 1. And as the match is going on, I'm like, I get why Orton's not number 1. Edge is going to actually win this, so they can stop talking about how Michaels was just Michaels started off the winning of number 1, because they couldn't talk about the most recent number 1 winner, right? So they gave it to Edge, which again, I'm okay with. All right. Did I want Daniel Bryan to win? Yes, I thought it would have been a nice little fucking thing to have Daniel Bryan. There was already a story being built with him and Roman. It made sense for Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns at WrestleMania because of things that Daniel Bryan had to go through. But Daniel Bryan's also saying that he's wanting to put a lot of people over now.
Which he's been doing too.
He has been doing.
Nakamura and Cesaro.
Yeah.
Over the last couple weeks.
And Cesaro signed that new contract, so it looks like he's getting a good push. So Edge wins. Okay, so we'll talk about this. Lasting over an hour, 1 hour and 32 seconds. You know who lasted as long as he did? Randy Orton. Because again, as soon as Randy Orton went out, number 1, number 2 were the final 2 in the match. It was really good. And then he necked it. Right. So those were your times for the longest one. Let's talk about who had the number 3 longest time. I'm going to ask you guys each. I want you to take a guess. Who had the number 3 longest time? Z.
Wait, hold on, real quick. What was the number 2 longest time?
Same as Edge, Randy Orton. Number 1 and 2 lasted the entire match. So an hour and 1 hour, 0.32 seconds.
And the number 3. So 1 hour. What did you say?
1 hour and 32 seconds.
Oh, I actually know the answer to this.
Oh, are you reading spoilers?
Who entered the Rumble at 3?
Who entered the number? Sami Zayn.
He said longest time after Edge and Orton.
Yes, who lasted longest after Edge and Orton? So now I'm not even asking Smitty because he's on the Wikipedia.
Oh no, I kind of already looked it up yesterday.
I have no idea.
Take a guess. Just take a guess.
Well, I'll go Sami Zayn then, because I know he came in at number 3.
Damian Priest.
All right. Smitty, who was it?
Riddle.
Matt Riddle lasted 31 minutes and 17 seconds.
Oh, because he came out at like number 4, right?
Number 16.
Nope. Oh, wow. 4 times. I meant 4 times 4. 4 times 4, right?
Yes, he came out at 4 times 4. That was really good. That was really good thinking. Who lasted 4th longest? Big E at 29 minutes and 45 seconds. Daniel Bryan lasted 28 minutes and 50 seconds. Nakamura at 22 minutes and 1 second. And Dolph Ziggler at 20 minutes and 30 seconds. Those are your top 7. The most eliminations went.
I looked at the top 5.
Most eliminations went to Big E and Damian Priest at 4. They had the most.
Dude.
And then Edge, Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, and Bobby Lashley were tied at the next amount with 3 eliminations. And then,
almost got elimination. Who wasn't even in a match.
Fucking ridiculous.
I made a statement
almost.
earlier in the show, and I would like to retract my statement. When we were talking about the women's Royal Rumble, and I said that I think I enjoyed the women's Royal Rumble more than the men's. But now that I'm thinking about it, I actually fucking love the men's Royal Rumble, not because Edge won it, because the amount of talent that looked really good coming out of the Rumble, i.e. Damian Priest. Bobby Lashley looks like Bobby Lashley of old coming out of the Rumble. Big E looks like a power. Like they did a lot for talents that I feel were kind of like teetering, and they really helped give them a push and make them all look like stars coming out of the Rumble. Which is actually better than, one of them winning. You had like 15 guys that came out of the Royal looking like fucking studs that you have a future with, even if one of them, is Matt Riddle. That sucks. Because I personally have a gripe against him. It is what it is. But the dude is talented. I just, personal views and shit. Yeah. But they put about 15 new guys that can all be top guys over if pushed correctly and whatnot.
It took 4 people to eliminate Bobby Lashley. Like you said, Bobby Lashley of old. Big
and
E,
he came
Christian,
in
Daniel Bryan, and Riddle. Yeah. Because he had 3 eliminations.
And Braun Strowman was eliminated by both Lashley and Big E, right?
Nope, Braun Strowman was eliminated by Edge.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They got him over the top rope. Him
Yeah,
and
no,
Christian
they
and everything. Yep.
they did the, yeah.
Big E was eliminated by Homos.
Oh yeah, he grabbed. Yeah, okay.
Yep. Fucking homos. Fucking.
That's what I called
many
them.
I know. I heard you.
No homos.
So continuing on with
and Mysterio as well was eliminated by Homos.
Continuing on with your analysis of the Rumble, Z, is there anything else you want to add to it?
At the end, so another spot I'm really sick of, and I'm really glad they didn't do this with Edge, is the wrestler rolls outside the ring, gets hurt, gets medical attention, and comes back an hour later and
It did it with
eliminates
Orton.
the guy.
Shut up, Smitty. Let him finish his fucking comment.
Right. So that's the spot. That's the exact spot I'm getting sick of. And I knew it was going to happen because I actually missed a little bit of what happened. So when I came back into the room, Orton was on the ground and walking to the back. So I thought he had been eliminated. So halfway through the match, they do the medical update. He's got an ice pack or whatever. And they're like, and Randy Orton hasn't officially been eliminated from the Royal Rumble, but it looks like his night is over. Like, okay, no, it's not. So you knew at that point, I was like, okay, Orton's going to come back, get rid of Edge. Then Daniel Bryan gets eliminated. I was like, all right, it's Edge for sure. Because Daniel Bryan was the only other option in my opinion.
Right.
So then Orton comes back and RKO's him. And I was like, God damn it, are they going to give Randy 3? Like, is this like Randy's accomplishment year, And then Edge does the little reverse. Good end to a good Rumble.
So the spot that you were sick of is the guy coming back and winning.
Yeah, I hate the fact that they take the whole Rumble off. Like they're actually in the Royal Rumble match for 10 minutes, but it's the first 5 and the last 5. If you leave the Rumble due to injury, you should be eliminated. Especially if you sit out until, number 30 is eliminated and there's 2 guys in the ring. Like, I don't know. Just doesn't seem fair logically to me.
Yeah, I get it. Nick, your thoughts on the men's Royal Rumble match?
I completely agree with what Z said about that. I'm tired of that too, and I don't think it's happened like that often. But between the men's Rumble,
it happens every year. Roman did it the year he won. Roman
I know
got hurt.
Brock Lesnar did it.
That's right.
You had Zelina Vega. I think she hit under the ring for a fucking half hour. That kind of shit. And I know she didn't go on to win the Rumble or wasn't in the final 4 or anything like that, but still,
Jerry Lawler did it too.
the idea that they get injured, like you said, you're gone. You know what I mean? It's not like Randy Orton couldn't go that whole entire Rumble without being in the ring. He can do that. He's not, Ric Flair. He's not 80 years old. But aside from that, I did enjoy the Rumble. And when I saw these tweets this week from guys like Mustafa Ali, and he's talking about, the senior citizen, winning the Royal Rumble. I read something that the average age of the guys in the Royal Rumble was like 37 years old. And it's still
the oldest it's ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 youngest people were Dominic Mysterio, and Otis were the 2 youngest in the whole Rumble.
And that's a
but
testament
all those people can go. Every single one of the talent on that list, like, yeah, they're older, but like Edge was the oldest person on that list, and he lasted the entire fucking Rumble. And it's not like he was like laying in the corner the whole time. Like he was doing something the entire Rumble. I saw that graphic too, and it's like, yeah, cool. But you kind of just want to sprinkle younger talent in there because all of the talent in that ring may be older talent, but it's all established talent. It's all somebody that you believe could win that Rumble. So, I mean, plus they say, go ahead. I was going to say, they say that's like, funny. Professional wrestler is kind of like a goalie in hockey. You're really not at your peak level till you're in your 30s. And then you only got a couple years in that span. But like a seasoned goalie in hockey is 30 years old. A seasoned vet in wrestling, I mean, depends when they started training and whatnot, is normally 30 years old. And then you get from 30 to 50 and, they're done.
I'm okay with the age thing here. Like, I understand, like, I see the Mustafa Ali tweet, but also that's kind of his gimmick now. Right. Like I'll allow that because it's kind of his gimmick now. So I just feel like Z said, name a person in that Rumble who you didn't think served a purpose, because even Kane coming back was eliminated by Damian Priest. So the young guy again was getting over by a veteran, and then Kane went on to praise him afterwards.
It was Hurricane. Hurricane was Lashley and Big E.
They tried to choke on that spot. He tried to do a 2-man power trip
because he tried
and even
it on,
that served a purpose.
He tried it on 2 white guys originally, and then he was like, "All right, maybe I could do it on 2 black guys." And they're like, "No, it's equal, man. Our lives matter. Our ring status matters too." And they put him
or like say somebody who didn't serve a purpose. I think Ricochet didn't serve a purpose in the Rumble.
You know what?
Those spots were cool. I like those.
No, because Ricochet fucking wasn't supposed to be in the Rumble because he lost to AJ Styles. Like, what was the fucking purpose? I agree with that. I don't think Ricochet should have touched that Rumble.
I think we talked about it.
Lost to AJ Styles, and he shouldn't have been in the fucking Rumble. You could have put somebody else in there.
We talked about it last week.
Was that a thing? Like, if he lost to AJ, that
like Drew Gulak, Ricochet, and it was like 2 other people.
Yeah, he was.
Adam Pearce was like, well, if you could beat AJ Styles tonight, you're in the Rumble.
He was the gatekeeper.
Yeah,
and these guys
lost jack and shit.
Yep. I mean, granted, everyone else didn't get in, but yeah, I'll give you that. Which is crazy to say that Ricochet didn't deserve to be in the Rumble, because we're talking about people that should be going over more, and it's like, yeah, Ricochet was just
storyline, he doesn't deserve to be in the Rumble.
Yeah, and that's why. I agree with that. Continue your thought, Nick. I'm sorry.
Well, with these examples that you guys are giving, that's the whole premise of the Royal Rumble. A guy doesn't have to win the Royal Rumble to get over. Guys like Damian Priest, he eliminates, okay, what'd you say, 4 guys, but he eliminated Kane, okay? This is fucking Kane that this guy Damian Priest is eliminated. Damian Priest didn't win the Royal Rumble. He didn't even last 20 minutes in the Royal Rumble, apparently.
15
but he's still getting over in that regard. So to say, okay, well, Edge shouldn't have won because, these younger guys should be going over, whatever. I'm okay with Edge winning. It's not to me, it's not like the sexiest pick, but it makes sense. And now he's doing this, like you said, the full-time schedule where he's going to these different brands. The odds-on favorite is that he's going to have a match with Roman, but the idea is there that he could have a match with somebody else. But again, these guys are going over. They're doing well in the Royal Rumble. They're eliminating these bigger names that we've been familiar with forever. So, I think that is part of what makes the Rumble special. Not just who wins it, but who performs well in the Rumble.
The storylines that you get from it as well.
What upsets me about the whole argument that Edge shouldn't have won the Royal Rumble is it blows my mind, because I don't think Edge was the original plan they went with. I think it was Daniel Bryan. And then this past week, after Edge cut his promo, the internet blew up wanting Edge to win the Rumble. And like Mikey said, well, Orton was slated to be number 1. Okay, Edge is number 1 now. Plans change. We're actually going to give the fans what they want, which they did in the Drew match and Goldberg match earlier. They put Drew over. I don't even know if that was the original plan, but either way, it seems like right now they're listening to their fans. So anybody bitching is just bitching to bitch.
And again, I will say this. If Edge won and he was going on a severe Brock Lesnar part-time schedule where you might see him twice a month, I'd be like, all right, this week in WWE, we've seen Edge 4 times. 4 times. He's on all 4 shows that appeared that WWE produced this week. Okay. He's not coming on a part-time schedule. I fully agree. Part-timers should not touch that Rumble spot win. Right. I get it. I'm not arguing it. but Edge is not. He said he wants to be back full time. He has stated that even after his WrestleMania stuff is done, he wants to do another tag team with Edge and Christian. He wants to have a run with Edge and Christian.
I saw that coming.
He said that he wants to fucking face Daniel Bryan. Not just any match. He wants to face Daniel Bryan in an actual 60-minute Iron Man match. Like Z was saying earlier, a real Iron Man match isn't the 30-minute ones that are going on. So Edge, the 47-year-old, wants to be in an hour-long match with Daniel Bryan. Edge wants to be go. Right. Edge wants to be there. Edge wants to wrestle, and he wants to wrestle at a high level. He doesn't want to just come in and go, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Well, he said that in an interview.
Week 3, here I go.
Yeah, well, he said that in an interview that he is here, and his mindset has always been go, go, go. So from now, in the interview, he said from now until WrestleMania, it's everything I can do. And people were talking shit about how AEW did better ratings than NXT this week, even though Edge was on it. But I guarantee you're going to see a bump in ratings next week, because now I want to see if Edge is going to be on NXT again. And especially like the possibility to think about, wow, we could see Finn versus Edge at WrestleMania for the NXT title, because he pointed out too that that's the only title he hasn't won.
Not true.
Well, North American, Universal, but in the Grand Dragon, he's like, I've never had that.
And again, they announced Edge like day of that he was going to NXT, maybe the day before.
Day before.
And again, there wasn't much build to it, right? For AEW's ratings, there was a huge fucking build, because you knew you were getting the Impact Tag Team titles, champions on there in the main event, and a great fucking main event, which we're going to get into in a little bit. Smitty, your thoughts on the Men's Rumble?
I enjoyed the Men's Rumble. I did enjoy the Women's Rumble more, but I still enjoyed the Men's Rumble. I'm all right. I'm good with Edge winning, especially what he's been doing. And then, like I said, he's been on all 3 shows. He's on interviews saying he's not a part-timer. So he's there. So I'm fine with this. Like I said, just the whole Ricochet thing was just like, fuck, like that. What the fuck was the point of AJ Styles gatekeeper?
Yeah.
And I like Ricochet,
pissed me off.
but I like Ricochet, but he seemed like the only guy that was out of place in that whole Rumble.
I agree. All right. Overall, what do you give the Men's Royal? I'm sorry, not the Men's Royal Rumble. What do you give the Royal Rumble pay-per-view? Z, starting with you.
I give it an 8.
All right. Wow, high. All right.
Everything I watched, I enjoyed. I preferred some things over others, and it seems like they're doing what their fans want of them. So yeah, an 8.
All right, Smitty, what do you give it?
I gave it a 7.5.
All right, Nick.
I'm in the same boat. 7.5, 8.
7.75.
Like Z said, you really I really enjoyed every minute of it. I mean, it's not like there was anything that was bad. There wasn't anything that was great, but there's those pay-per-views you get where it's like, okay, well, I can fucking go take a dump during this match. I didn't feel like that during this pay-per-view at all.
I gave it a 7. I really thought that Sasha Banks match it
was a piss break.
I was gonna say that was the only downfall, but
I mean, again, Goldberg put him over. That's fine. Bianca won, awesome. Roman Reigns, there was that fucking ending really hurt a lot, and Edge winning was good.
I was even invested in the kickoff show for this one, so that's why it gets an extra 0.5 point for me.
Fair. 2 things coming out of the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Quickly, we'll talk about this because we got 20 minutes left, and I want to get into the stuff that Smitty can't stop putting over this entire show. Returns. You saw the return of Christian, who, again, another one, wasn't scheduled to ever wrestle again because of concussions, injuries.
Was cleared the day before or something like that.
Yep. It was either the day before or definitely the week of, right? Not many people knew. As a matter of fact, he was just there walking around, and then eventually people saw him in clothing.
I had a slight feeling, only because Edge was number one. You got to bring back Christian, and even if he was slightly injured or whatnot, you could still do a Rumble and not really have to get too physical.
Yeah, but if you're not cleared, you're not cleared, bro.
Well, right.
Yeah,
No, I'm
and
just
Christian went 18 minutes.
So yes, he was there for a while. Also, Carlito. Carlito comes back. Everyone was talking about how on Legends, that one Legend show, he was supposed to be there. People were mad they didn't see Carlito. To the point where WWE's like, all right, let's bring him for the Rumble. And now he's technically on a 3-week trial. See what he can do be on a 3-week trial run. If he's good enough, I mean, look, they're already impressed with how he looks, right? He came back with a fucking 6-pack of apples, okay? And he's looking strong, the way he's talking on the mic, everything from what he was showing off on Raw. So a 3-week trial run. Are we okay with Carlito coming back, Z?
yeah. I like I mentioned earlier, my very first thought was they should have him be the next victim of the Fiend and be the one that changes. So then like his persona is 1 minute he's the cool guy, next minute he's fucking evil cool guy, like evil Cabana boy. I mean, he could have a lot of fun with that. And Carlito's the type of talent where, I mean, just look at his previous run with WWE. He will try his best to get over whatever the fuck you give him. And he's kind of got that Jericho touch where everything he has been given, he's kind of gotten over. So
Yeah.
I'm really cool with it. I hope it works out for him. I just hope he doesn't become a casualty to bad booking. That's all.
Smitty, your thoughts on Carlito?
I'm cool with it. No, all pun intended.
That's
You're
good
cool?
because he's gonna spit in the face of you if you didn't want to learn.
But maybe it's possibly like MVP last year. MVP was the comeback we didn't know we needed, and maybe Carlito's like another step like that.
You can see that. That'd be good. Nick, you're getting a different question. Thoughts on the whole Christian return, and what do you want to see of him?
I love it, actually. I mean, as long as he can stay healthy, I think he did pretty well in the Royal Rumble, and I don't think we'll see him around as long as we're seeing Edge, or as long as we will see Edge. But I think a reunion of those two, that has some really good potential there. So I'm definitely excited for it. I'm glad that he's back. I think it's kind of a feel good story for him. We've already talked about Edge and been there, but it's definitely a feel good story for him to be back in the ring.
So let's now move into something that Z was making a slight mention of that got a lot of people going. AEW destroyed NXT in the ratings. AEW went up, I want to say 13% from the week before, but NXT dropped like 30 something percent. And a lot of it is due to the ending of AEW. AEW has had a working relationship with Impact Wrestling. Kenny Omega was in a main event for the Hard to Kill pay-per-view, tag teaming with the Impact tag team champions, the Good Brothers, Anderson and Gallows. And now Kenny had them come and main event an AEW Dynamite. It was him and the Good Brothers versus Jon Moxley, Pac, and Rey Fenix in a spectacular main event match. Then something happened that a lot of people have wanted but finally got. Kenta, who is next in line to take on Jon Moxley for Jon Moxley's IWGP United States Championship, which he is the champion for New Japan, obviously, showed up and attacked Moxley. Here's why this is a large deal. Outside of the fact that New Japan is involved in something in AEW, Kenta is a member of the current formation of Bullet Club. Obviously, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Tama Tonga is talking shit about them, saying they're claiming to be Bullet Club, and they're not Bullet Club. If you're not in Bullet Club, if you're not in New Japan, you're not in Bullet Club, so on and so forth. Kenta had no real interaction with Omega other than looks, stares and stuff like that. But now there is an actual working relationship between New Japan and AEW. Here is why there's a working relationship. Anything that was going on in Japan regarding Moxley, all right, he was always a part of New Japan, but they didn't have to really do anything, worry about American-wise, because he was always going to Japan. Now, New Japan has to do something in America, and John Moxley has to be involved. So it kind of sped up, the COVID pandemic kind of sped up this working relationship. There was always talk that there was supposed to be something, but now it has to happen because the only way further on the American soil is something has to go through Tony Khan. Tony Khan, obviously being a fucking wrestling mark, and not in a bad way, right? Huge fan, let's say fan. Huge wrestling fan on top of owning AEW is he knows what's smart. He knows it's a smart thing to do. So now there's a working relationship between New Japan and AEW. We now have the possibility of Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Bullet Club versus Bullet Club. We see that obviously Kenta is already Bullet Club. He's taking on John Moxley at the next New Japan show, which is in the United States. And they can do this because of all travel restrictions. But Kenta still lives, I believe, in Florida. Yep, I think he still has residence in Florida. So his is a working visa that he's able to go through Japan and back, right? So Moxley lives in Vegas. It's, he is not considered essential because I think something was whatever the travel restrictions are. It seems stupid. It obviously is kind of stupid, but he couldn't do all that travel probably because of his working with AEW. And all Kenta's doing is working with New Japan. So come here, quarantine for 14 days. Now you can do whatever the fuck you want. But to have Moxley travel back, quarantine, it's going to be
and he just had a kid, so he'd have to quarantine from his family as well. So that probably has something to do with it.
Right. So
did they already have a kid?
Or she's pregnant.
Yeah,
whatever.
she's pregnant now. Either way, yeah.
But if you got to quarantine 14 days and your child's being born, I'd be fucking livid.
Right, exactly. You got to go there. You got to quarantine 14 days, so you got to miss AEW work events. Then you got to come back and quarantine another 14 days. There's another 2 AEW work events you got to miss. New Japan is on that fucking middle schedule, right? So Kenta here, the next fucking show is here anyway. Come here, quarantine 14 days. You don't have to go back to Japan for anything. The next thing is in USA, so they can have a working relationship. Now, like I said, a lot of people were hoping to see something like this with WWE when they first got Balor, and then when AJ showed up, and then with the Good Brothers showing up. They really hoped for it. Obviously, WWE not going to do it. Vince hates putting anything else over that he didn't come up with. AEW, on the other hand, doesn't give a fuck. You want to talk about ratings? AEW is going to pull some fucking ratings. Smitty, I'm going to go ahead and lead off with you with this because obviously you're just walking around with an AEW t-shirt. You got this Bullet Club AEW fucking sign behind you as if you couldn't suck the dick of New Japan any harder. And the whole connection of all this. So let me ask you first off how you felt about seeing Kenta. Was it a surprise to you? I understand that you may have thought something could happen, but was it an actual surprise that it happened? And 2, what are your hopes for this working relationship between all 3 companies? Because let's not forget Impact in this. For anything Gallows and Anderson, they are the Impact World Tag Team Champions. They are walking around branding Impact everywhere they go by holding those belts that are painted by the wonderful people at Z-Bros who have made the championship that is right behind Nick's head, our own Ring Crew Championship. That's right, bitches. We use the real people. Smitty, talk.
I was really surprised that Kenta showed up. The person I thought would probably show up would be Tama Tonga because he's been the most active on social media and being vocal about this whole Omega Good Brothers thing. So seeing Kenta and Kenta was a good surprise because what?
I was doing KO, Kenny Omega.
Oh. But Kenta was a good surprise, especially bro. Because the whole the IWGP US title thing and Moxley. I'm looking forward to that match. What I'm hoping to see is a triple threat tag team match because all 3 of the biggest tag teams that come out the Bullet Club are all tag champs right now. Good Brothers and Impact, the Bucks and AEW, and IWGP World Heavyweight Tag Team Champions are the Girls of Destiny. Probably see all those three teams go at it is something I would like to see personally. And also, yeah, Golden Lovers go at it with their titles. That'd be sweet.
Sweet.
You know, I would like to see Moose versus Lance Archer or something like that. So
right.
I'm like just the possibilities of things that can come out of this. Like something like Toriano versus Orange Cassidy. So there's a lot of things that I would like to see. Like hopefully this does lead to, if everything goes the way in the summer, leads to that big super show that the rumors are spreading about. That'd be dope.
Dope, bro.
And then Kenta did have interaction with Moxley. I mean, not Moxley, but Omega, like on a post-show like interview on AEW, where pretty much Omega goes out, catches him outside. He goes like, "Brother Jay didn't tell me that we were gonna have company," and Kenta just goes, "I'm not your fucking friend." And pretty much walks off.
Nick, you're seeing this. It's all happening in front of your face. It's coming on you like a fucking bukkake, a New Japan bukkake. Your thoughts on this? Is this going to incite you to maybe watch a little bit more New Japan so you can get a little bit more familiarized with things? You know, Bucks are touting things and stuff, saying, "Hey, until we did the Too Sweet, that Bullet Club shirt hasn't been in the top 10 of pro wrestling tees since we left New Japan. So you're welcome." Obviously, jibber jabbering back and forth with Tama Tonga. So are you going to try and invest a little bit more into New Japan now to get a little bit more familiar with how things are going? Or are you just going to sit and watch Impact and AEW and see how it goes?
I want to get more into New Japan. I've been wanting to for a while, and this is just more incentive to do so. You know, it kind of sucks that they're like, it's almost like a curse that there's so much wrestling to watch right now, because it's hard to find the time to get in everything now. But then you throw in New Japan, and it's like I almost had to cut something out, which will probably be Raw. But anyway, when I saw Kenta come out, I didn't realize, and then this is just showing how little about New Japan I know. I didn't realize that he was in WWE previously. He was and I can't remember his name. He was, there you go. He was in the cruiserweights. And you know, I recognized him immediately from that part of it. So that helped build the excitement a little more, because I actually knew who he was. I do like the relationship that they're building. I hope they don't overdo it right away. Like, I hope it's more of like a Novocaine type deal, like, not to steal a quote from Denzel in Remember the Titans, but slow and steady like Novocaine. You know, like, give us a little bit here, a little bit there, because I would hate to see anything get lost in the shuffle. Like, they're giving us Kenta, and then you want to bring in other tag team options for the Good Brothers and the Young Bucks to all, like, you know, Smitty said, this triple threat tag team that is a dream match of his. Sounds good on paper, but at the same time, is something going to get lost? Like, are we going to start to forget about Impact because we're having these matches between brands? You know what I mean? So
I see, but I have a feeling that a lot of this stuff is going to carry over into Impact. So then technically you have a Tuesday show and a Wednesday show,
which would be sweet.
So you won't get lost in the shuffle. And then anybody that doesn't necessarily make TV, they could put on Dark, because I mean, I don't watch AEW Dark, but it is a nice little outlet. It's kind of like WWE main event or something, but it's with people you will actually see on TV. They just don't happen to be on TV this week, but they did have a match. You know, it's like one of those things. Like, you'll eventually see them on TV, where in main event with WWE, they kind of just stay there and you never see them on actual television. So they actually have a lot of different outlets to showcase all this talent they do have with this collaboration.
Also, I think this is the best way for New Japan to get into that American market. this collaboration with AEW.
Okay, so I was thinking that too, but guys, I'm having a really hard time understanding the logic behind all this. Like, why did
The Forbidden
Hideo
Door is
Itami
open.
just attack Dean Ambrose? I don't get it. Like, why is this happening? They've never had beef before, and then here comes Hideo Itami doing CM Punk's move. It's fucking bullshit. Now, also, who are the knockoff Usos? Who are the ones complaining about the Bullet Club, the knockoff Usos? What are their names?
Oh, Camacho.
Sure.
The Gorillas of Destiny. The Gorillas of Destiny, who the Usos are knocks off of.
Oh yeah, the knockoff Usos, those guys.
Well, technically, Tanga Loa used to be Camacho.
They're the apes of destiny.
To answer one of the questions you asked, Nick, I am kind of excited to see this, but no, it is not going to make me go watch old New Japan shit. It's just going to make me watch the current product unfold.
Yeah, I'm not talking.
Right,
I'm not talking about
exactly.
old. I'm not talking about old. I'm talking about something. Are you going to step up and want to watch more? Because right now, like you said, there's a Tuesday and a Wednesday. New Japan Strong was announced. It's going to be on the Roku TV. I'm not positive yet. I've only done a little bit of fucking research regarding it because they just had the announcement this week, like right before I started working and kid stuff. And it was like, I really can't research this much. I'm not sure if it's going to be a weekly thing that's going to be airing in America. Cause it's also going to be on, it was also announced that it was going to be on Fight TV as well.
Is it going to be live or is it going to be like pre-taped?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I haven't done a lot of research into it to understand it, but I do know that they just made the deal to where they were going to be on Roku streaming things. And dude, that's like, it was 3 days ago. So again, right before the weekend, right before I'm working all the fuck, I couldn't sadly do all the research that I wanted to for this. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does New Japan currently so they got this idea for Strong. Do they have a weekly episodic show that's been running for years, like similar to a Raw or SmackDown or Dynamite?
No. Just they first made their foray into the United States, I want to say about 5 years ago. And that's when they started having a training thing here. Then Jericho
they had the G1 here too.
Yeah,
the G1 in America.
Yeah, they had that Jericho went into them, so it showed even bigger. So then they started doing more stuff in America. Obviously, with the Young Bucks and Kenny there, it was a good crossover because Kenny, North American, Young Bucks living in California, and they were obviously putting it over the most. So that's what I'm saying. So like the headline of this it's on Variety says New Japan Pro Wrestling sets Roku channel TV deal in US, UK, and Canada. So again, not fully. Oh wait, no. The professional wrestling promotion will air a 1 hour weekly series on the Roku channel beginning February 11th and will air every Thursday thereafter beginning at 5 p.m. Episodes will then be available on demand to Roku's estimated 61.8 million users for free with ads. Additionally, the Roku channel will host a block of library content featuring key highlights from the 2020 New Japan catalog. So yeah,
Roku box now.
I don't know. Do you need a Roku box? You just need Roku.
Roku, or like they make televisions, and this is like a streaming box that it's kind of like a Chromecast or.
But I mean, can you download the Roku like a Roku app?
No, you just got.
It's his own brand.
I mean, it's like buying a Fire Stick. It's $30.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. It looks like a stock Fire Stick or a Chromecast or something like that. And Roku does have do have televisions as well, like smart TVs.
Well, that's kind of a smart move because, I know a lot of people don't know, but TCL, they're like a budget-friendly TV, but they make a lot of good quality shit.
Yeah.
So that's built into those TVs, and that's getting a lot of eyes on it.
All right.
So like the Roku is built in some of the smart TVs.
All right. Well, so it says my internet connection is unstable, so I might be freezing every now and then. What then will Nick Z? We'll start with you because we couldn't really give your full comments on this, but your thoughts on the possibility going forward. Are you going to be invested anything into this, or are you just going to see how it plays out and then jump on if it is good?
I I honest answer, I can't really answer that right now. Like it's one of those things where if I turn it on and I'm interested, I will. But I haven't even been watching any wrestling live on Wednesday nights, like whether it be NXT or Dynamite. And I kind of catch them as I catch them. You know, I get caught up like bullet points, and something catches my interest, I'll go back and watch it. Like I know that, you know, Hideo Itami attacked Dean Ambrose, so like I knew that was going to be the start of something. But I mean, I am curious, so I'm more likely to check it out. But with my busy schedule and everything, like if it falls by the wayside, I'll hear it from Smitty on Sundays. You know,
I just think it's crazy that Dean Ambrose got rid of his shield before tired of taking bullets. It's crazy. What a stupid idea that was.
Yeah, well, so
Nice.
I meant to ask you though, like your internet connection, like Ultimate Warrior unstable or like Dean Ambrose unstable? Are you talking to plant? Are you talking to plants?
I don't know. Smitty, all in on this?
All in. All day.
Oh, no. Are you gonna go raw? Or are you gonna smack it down? What's next?
Boom, there goes the dynamite.
God damn,
Making a real
right.
impact.
Way to give it a
Making
nice
an
little
impact.
impact. Yeah, knock it off its axis. Nick, your thoughts. Are you how on a scale of 1 to 10, how invested do you think you're gonna be right off the bat? Do you think you want to be? Because I asked this because obviously, like Z said, he doesn't really watch a lot of live Wednesday night coverage, right? So that means he's not totally invested in AEW. You, on the other hand, are in love with love AEW, not in love. You love AEW, appreciate the product. You were talking about that 6-man tag match, you know, Ray Phoenix going fucking nuts left and right. But again, great match, great setup to what could come. So being that you are into AEW, that you're getting more into Impact, do you think that, hey, this might have me at a 7 right now, 7 out of 10, and if it explodes, 10 out of 10?
I think right now it's probably more like an 8, and then if it explodes, then definitely a 10. It just because this is something we really never seen. You know, like you said earlier, Vince McMahon doesn't want anything to do with anything that takes the eyes off of him and his product.
Right.
Tony Khan don't give a shit. So he's just like, fuck
it's
it,
all
let's
connected.
do it. Yep, let's get these people what they want to see in essence. And you know, so far it's worked out. The relationship between Impact and AEW, I think is good. I think that's worked really well. If it works really well with New Japan, I'm all for it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it for us. Again, we love the Royal Rumble. We're really excited about this connection that is going on between AEW, Impact Wrestling, and New Japan Wrestling. Hopeful for Carlito to have a great comeback in WWE, similar to what MVP pulled off last year. And hey, we'll see if Christian and Edge can start running the tag division and bringing that out of mediocrity in WWE as the year progresses. Thank you so much for watching. Check out breakingdownthering.com. Get yourself some of our merch. Check out Nick's chest right now. That's a beautiful shirt. You could buy that shirt. It is wonderful. Go get it. breakingdownthering.com. You can also follow us on all of our social medias by going to breakingdownthering.com or just search BDRcast. You guys can follow that. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for paying attention. We are your ring crew.
Ready.
Z.
Oh, Nick.
And you guys are at times or Randy Orton of Giant Nut Sex.
Okay, letter Kenny. All right.
Tried it. I was thinking of it the whole time.
I am the almighty one, Mikey
more
himself.
brain
Thank you
busters?
again so much for listening, and we are out.